Hello, beautiful people. Welcome or welcome back to Alexis Faye Yoga. I am so very glad that you've decided to join me today. Now, today we are going to be focusing on core and back strength, as well as some balance. Now, if that sounds good to you, go ahead and roll out your mat, hit the like and subscribe buttons down below, and we'll flow right into it. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to another week of yoga. Deep arm, sending that right foot back. Now we will begin our practice by laying on our backs. Now we want the back to be nice and flat to the floor. So if you notice this space in your low back that is not touching the ground, we'll lift the hips, we'll tuck them forward and set them down again. So we're flattening out the space and we're grounding down through the floor. Now we'll reach the legs up to the ceiling and we'll start to wiggle them out. We can point and flex the feet, we can circle the ankles, and we can always use our hands to hold our legs here, or we can do the same with the wrists, pointing and flexing, splaying and wiggling. Now we'll bend at the knees. So we have a 90-degree angle at the knees. Point the toes out in front and we'll start to engage the core. So pulling the back down towards the floor and we'll place the hands against the knees. Now we'll press into the knees and press the knees back into the hands as we start to warm up and fire up through our core. Now you can push a lot or not so much, depending on how you're feeling today in this movement. And then we'll soften and release, bringing the left knee into the chest. We'll extend the right leg along, and very slowly, we'll lower that right leg all the way down to the floor. Now giving our left knee a nice big squeeze to the chest. We can find some movement here, either rocking the legs side to side in the hip, or by doing some circles. We'll bring our left knee back in towards the chest and then move it towards our right side across the body as we move to a gentle twist, lengthening the left arm out long from the shoulder. And we'll try and keep those shoulder blades down to the floor. Untwisting, we'll drop the left hip back down to the ground. Wrap the arms around the left leg to hold it in towards the chest. And we'll reverse what we did before with our right leg. Pick it up off the mat. Reach it all the way up towards the ceiling. Bend at the knee. Let go of the left. Drop the back down towards the floor. Engage through the core. Bring the hands to the knees. And we'll gently press the knees away. Press the knees back into the hands. Good, and we'll relax. We'll grab for our right knee, lengthen through the left. And really, really slowly, we'll lower that left leg all the way down to the floor. We'll find some movement here with our right hip. We can rock the hip side to side or find some circular motions. And we'll guide that right knee across the left side of our body. Reach the right arm out from the shoulder and press both shoulder blades down towards the floor. Slowly untwisting again. We'll hug the right knee back into the chest as we reverse the left leg, picking it up off the mat, pointing with the toes, sending it up nice and tall, bending at the knees. Now we'll wrap the arms around both legs, and maybe rock side to side. And keeping a bend to the knees, we'll drop the feet down towards the floor in line with the hips. So we've got a nice double fist distance between the knees. And we're going to lift the hips up off the floor, moving to our bridge pose. Squeeze the glutes, lift the hips up. We can bring the hands alongside the body, palms down, or we can interlock the hands underneath of the low back and walk the shoulder blades in a little closer if you would like to add the additional element of lengthening across the chest. Now from here, we're going to add another element, and we're going to march with the legs, lifting the right and setting it down, lifting the left and setting it down. Now we're trying not to move the hips as we lift and lower. So we're not dipping or twisting. We're trying to keep them level with the floor. And we can lift the foot a little, or we can lift the foot a lot, but we'll march back and forth. Still squeezing with the glutes, engaging with the legs. Maybe starting to feel the glutes firing. We'll drop both feet down. And we'll take a moment here in our bridge pose to lift the hips a little bit higher. Squeeze the glutes, pull the legs in without letting them touch. And we'll lower the hips all the way back down to the floor. Maybe wiggling out with some windshield wipering side to side. Or maybe curling back into a nice tight ball and rolling around. But when we're ready, we'll come back to our backs, back to our neutral pose, making sure the low back is touching the floor. And we'll pick up our left leg and drape it across our right, flexing through the toes of our left foot, reaching them up towards the ceiling. We'll gently press that left knee away from the chest. And we can either use our hand here to press against the left knee, or we can take both hands and thread it through to grab for our right thigh and pull in towards the chest. Now again, we also have an option to use our left elbow to gently leverage our left knee away as we pull both legs in towards the chest, flexing through the feet. And we'll slowly soften our right foot back down towards the floor. Squeeze the glutes. We'll lift up to our bridge pose here, one-legged. And we can always keep our left leg on top of our right. Or if you would like, you can also extend the left leg out long and let it float in the air. Good. We'll soften the hips back down, removing the left leg from the right if it's still there. And we'll wiggle out a little more. And then come back to our neutral place again. Flat back to the mat. We'll pick up our right leg and drape it across our left. Flex the foot, and we'll gently rock the right knee away from the body. And again, we have an option to press the knee away. We have an option to thread the hands through and pull the legs in. And we have that option to add the right elbow in and press the knee away as we pull both legs in. Good. We'll loosen our grip and drop the left foot down. Move to our one-legged bridge pose. Lift the hips up off the mat. You have an option to keep our right foot here on top of the left leg, or we have the option to float the right leg alongside the left. Good. We'll set the hips back down. Bring both legs in for a nice tight squeeze. And we can rock side to side. From here, we'll make our way to standing. So we can either roll all the way onto one side, use the hands to press us up, or we can rock and roll forward and back to pop us up on the feet. We'll move to our Tadasana, our mountain pose. Bringing the feet underneath of the ankles, underneath of the hips. We'll pick up the toes, spread them out nice and wide and set them down. Lifting the shoulders up to the ears, we'll work them back and down the spine, rotate the palms forward, and gently draw the chin in. Closing the eyes, we'll press down through the feet. And take a few moments to slow the breath, to slow the thoughts. There's nowhere you need to be but right here in your body right now. With our next in-breath, we'll circle the arms up overhead, reaching tall to the ceiling, and we'll interlock all fingers but our pointer fingers. And we'll send that pointer finger pile over towards our side, sending the hip in the opposite direction, moving for a side bend. We'll inhale through center, and maybe take the eyes up towards the ceiling. And with an exhale, we'll bring the eyes back to our neutral, forward facing. Now we'll send the hands over to the opposite direction and the hips away, moving to another side bend. Inhale through center. And maybe we'll take the eyes up. Maybe we'll draw the hands behind the body slightly for a little bit of a back bend. We'll guide the eyes back out in front as the hands come overhead, and we'll drop them out, and we'll shake them around. Now moving our weight into our left foot so we can pick up our right. We'll find our figure 4 here, draping the right leg across to the left, point the toes down towards the floor. We'll take a moment here to find the balance, pressing evenly through the whole of the left foot, gently drawing the right knee back away from the left hip. Now we have a couple different options to play around with here. Our first option is a forward fold. Hinging from the waist, we'll drop our pointer and middle finger down towards the floor, keeping our left leg long with a little micro bend. Another option here is to move to a one-legged chair pose with the upper body up nice and tall, eyes forward. And then option number 3 is a lower chair pose where we bring the forearms down to our right leg. Finding an option or going in between the 3. Now, whichever option we're in, we'll add a little more bend to our left knee to help us lift up from the upper body. So we lengthen out through the left leg. And then we can remove the right from the left and wiggle out. Now we'll do the other side, moving our weight into our right foot to pick up the left. Finding our figure 4, crossing the left over the right, gently drawing the body away from the left knee. Point those left toes down towards the floor. And we'll take a moment to find the balance, pressing down through the whole of the right foot. Use your toes to grip the earth. Now we have those 3 options again, or I guess 4 options because we can stay exactly where we are right here. We can move to our forward fold, keeping our right leg long. We can bend through the right leg and move to our chair pose, where we can further soften into a deeper chair pose by bringing the forearms down towards our left shin. Whichever option we're in, we'll start to make our way towards standing. And we'll remove the left leg from the right and we'll wiggle out as we make our way to the top of our mat. With an in-breath, we'll reach the arms up towards the ceiling. And with a big exhale, we'll hinge from the waist, forward fold. Inhale, moving to a halfway lift, lengthening out through the top of the head, sending the hips back behind. Exhale to fold. And I'll take a little bit of time here in our forward fold to wiggle and play, to give ourselves grace. And we'll find our breath again. With an inhale, move to our halfway lift. Exhale, we'll fold. Plant the hands down. Add a little more bend to the knees. And we'll step, hop, or float back to a plank pose. Spread the fingertips out nice and wide, and we'll grip into the earth. And we'll hold here for a few breaths. We'll shift a little further forward, coming onto our tippy toes as we pull the elbows in towards the rib cage. And with our exhale, we'll lower to an up dog or to a cobra. From here, we'll send the hips up and back behind, moving to our down dog. And again, finding a way to wiggle or play here. We'll pick up our left leg, bring it closer to our chest so we can cross it over our right and move to our figure 4 down dog. Toes point down to the floor. Send the hips up and back behind. We'll squeeze the legs together. Good. We'll remove our left from our right and send the left leg up towards the ceiling. Now we'll bend at the knee, draw the knee towards the top of the mat, and step our left foot down. We'll bring a full breath in through the nose and fully release that breath out from the mouth. Now pressing down evenly through both feet, we'll lift up to a crescent lunge. Send the eyes and the chest towards the ceiling as we reach to the sky. Now we'll press the left leg towards straight as we drop our right heel down at a 45-degree angle away. We'll move to a lengthened pyramid pose, hinging from the waist. We can bring the hands to our left leg, to the floor, or wherever they land. We'll take a few deep breaths here. Maybe wiggle the hips side to side. Good. We'll add a bend back into our left knee. As we lift the chest up, we'll keep our right foot at the 45-degree angle away, moving to our warrior pose. Now, if you're feeling unbalanced, walk that left foot a little further out towards our left side so the feet are not on a tightrope, but are on train tracks. From here, we'll reach tall with the top of the head, reach with the fingertips, and we'll move to a humble warrior. Engage the core, pull the ribs and hip bones a little closer together. And with our exhale, we'll soften the chest to the inside of our left leg as we sweep the arms up and back behind, airplaning them. And holding here, pressing evenly through both feet, gripping with the toes. Reaching forward with the top of the head so we're nice and long. Good. With our in-breath, we'll reach back up to our warrior one. With an exhale, we'll move to our humble warrior. Sweep the arms. Inhale to lift warrior one. Exhale, humble warrior. Inhale, warrior one. One more time. Exhale to our humble warrior. Pause for a breath or two. And we'll lift up again, warrior one. Exhale, hinge from the waist. We'll frame out our left foot with the hands, and we'll pivot our right foot. So we're lifting the heel and sending the toes down towards the earth to help us unthread our left leg and drape it across our right, moving to our figure four down dog. Removing the left from the right. We'll keep the left hovered as we shift forward to our plank. Exhale, chaturanga to an up dog or a cobra. Drop the left toes down. And then we'll send the hips up and back, down dog. Wiggle it out. And we'll pick up our right leg and drape it across our left, figure four, down dog. We'll remove the right from the left, send the right leg up and back. We'll bend at the knee and step our right foot to the top of our mat. Full breath in through the nose. And do an even larger breath back out as a sigh. Pressing down through both feet to lift the upper body up, crescent lunge. Now we'll lengthen out through our right leg and drop the left heel down. Turn the hips back towards the top of our mat. We'll lengthen out through the spine as we hinge and fold towards our right leg. Adding the bend back into our right. Inhale, lifting the chest, reach the arms up, warrior one. Again, we have the option to heel toe our right foot out a little further. Bending through the right knee, send the chest and the arms to the sky. From here, we'll move to our humble warrior. Hinging from the waist, floating the chest to the inside of our right knee, drawing the shoulder blades back to reach with the fingers towards the back of the mat. Gripping down through the toes, trying to keep even weight between the feet. And we'll find our breath again, flowing back and forth between our warrior one and our humble warrior. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, hinge, sweep the arms. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale to our humble warrior. And we'll pause for 2 or 3 breaths. And move back to our warrior one again. Exhale, we'll hinge and frame out our right foot so we can pick it up, cross it over the left to our figure 4 down dog. We'll remove the right from the left, send the right back. We'll keep it hovering as we shift forward. Chaturanga. Drop the toes for our up dog or our cobra. And do our down dog again. We'll wiggle and we'll pedal out the legs. And we'll slide the hands about a hand's distance closer towards the toes. Now we'll find a hovering tabletop. So our knees are over the mat. We're pressing through the hands and down through the toes. We'll drop the knees the rest of the way down, untuck the toes. With an in-breath, we'll lift the hips, we'll lift the eyes, and we'll shine the chest forward. With our exhale, we'll curl in towards center, arching up through the mid-back. And we'll move back and forth with our breath through our cat-cows. And back to our tabletop. We'll tuck the toes under as we start to walk the hands in so we can sit on the heels. We'll take a little bit of time here as we start to stretch and open up along the plantar fascia, along the bottom of the foot. We can close the eyes or we can keep them open as we start to slow down the breath, slow down any thoughts that may have come to the mind during our flow. Come back into our bodies, into this present moment. And we're going to move to a toe stand from here. Now, if you've never done a toe stand before, it might be helpful to move a little closer to the wall or to find a prop to help you up with the balance here. But from here, we'll drop the hands down beside the knees and we'll rock the hips back so that our toes are underneath of us. Our knees are pointed out in front, and if we can lift the hands up off the floor to help us lift the top of the head towards the ceiling, that's wonderful. And we always can use a prop or a wall to help us here as we're continuing to stretch the plantar fascia. Now we have a couple different ways that we can play, a couple different elements we can try here in our toe stand. Now if we want to work on the balance and our mobility, we can drop one knee down in front of the body, pick us up, rotate, and drop the other knee down in front. That's one option, one way to play. We can drop the hands down and find a forward and back rock with both legs. And then maybe take the knees out wider as we set the hips back. And one other option. We can drop the hands down and we can do a one-handed toe stand by lifting one leg up, draping it in our figure 4 across the other, flex through both feet, and try and lift the hands up off of the floor, off of our props. But any of these options are fun to play with, are great for our mobility and for our balance. Just finding one element or a couple different elements to mash together to play with. And when you're ready, we'll drop the knees down and we'll soften the feet. We can wiggle them out, we can point and flex, we can circle the ankles. But we'll start to roll over so that we're in a seated position with our legs out in front. And we'll bounce the legs out a little bit. We'll wiggle out through the feet. And then we'll sit up nice and tall on our sit bones. Point the toes up to the ceiling, engaging all the way up the legs. We'll send the arms up towards the ceiling. And we'll pause here in our staff pose, focusing on our breath and our posture. So at the end of each exhale, rechecking our posture, reaching up a little bit taller through the top of the head, sitting up a little higher, reaching towards the ceiling with the fingers and the toes. And we'll stay here for a few breaths as we really build strength through the back body. Another exhale, we'll bring the hands down alongside us. And we'll slide the bottoms of the feet in a little closer. Now, still sitting up nice and tall through the spine. We'll soften a little further back so we can engage through the core as we move to our boat pose. Now, we can always keep our tippy toes down. We can bring our shins parallel to the floor, or we can lengthen the legs fully out. Finding a variation here that feels right, that feels challenging, but not overly hard. We're still having grace. We're still being kind to ourselves. And we'll start to lengthen out as we lower all the way down towards the floor. Reaching the arms up overhead, pointing and reaching with the toes. Full body stretch, take up space. We'll circle the arms down and around as we walk the bottoms of the feet in, noticing if we have space in the low back. Picking up the hips, tucking them forward and setting them down. We'll lift the bottoms of the feet and bring the knees to our 90 degrees. We'll bring the palms to the knees and press knees into hands, hands into knees. Trying to keep the back flat to the floor as we do so. Or move the hands from the knees. And both legs will extend out and lower them down towards the floor, pressing the back into the ground. And then we'll move to a Savasana here, a restful pose, wiggling out until we find a comfortable place to be, a comfortable place to focus on our breath. We'll move the shoulders a little further away from the ears as we close the eyes. We'll soften the muscles of the face. We'll let the feet roll away from each other, and the legs and the arms to be heavy towards the floor. Bring our attention back to our breath. Fully fill the lungs with air before fully and completely releasing the breath back out. For the next little while, we'll try and make our exhales a little longer than our inhales, so we can fully let go of our breath, so we can fully let go of any thoughts that we do not need, and fully let go of any emotions being stored in the body, and let go of anything that is not helping us or making us feel better. we'll bring another large breath in through the nose. And release the breath out as a sigh. We start to bring ourselves back into our bodies by wiggling the fingers, wiggling the toes. When you are feeling ready, go ahead and roll to one side or the other. And we'll take our moment of gratitude here. Thank yourself for coming to your mat today, for this time in your day that you have given to yourself and yourself alone, for this time that you have made for yourself to do what feels good, to move in a way that feels right, and to slow down and just be in this moment. Give yourself a nice big mental hug. And you can start to make your way to a seated position. We'll drop one hand down to the floor beside us and reach the other up and over. And then cartwheel the arms and move to the other side. Inhaling back through center again. And we'll close the eyes one last time as we bring a large breath in through the nose. And let it out as a sigh. Thank you so very much for joining me today. It is always such a joy and an honor to get to spend this time with you. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Go in love, go in light, go in peace, and go in joy. Now, if you have made it this far, be sure to hit the like and subscribe buttons down below if you haven't already. And follow the link down there as well to my Patreon if you would like to support me further. Or if you have any video recommendations, Patreons can recommend videos for me to make specifically for you. Thank you.